I'm all blurry.
You are. You will remain blurry.
That's why this interview is going to go so well.
Good.
I'm just a blurry headshot.
This is a role reversal for me. I'm usually the person doing the interviewing.
I know.
In the other game.
I love how uncomfortable this is making you.
It's not.
Okay.
You'll see.
All right.
When the red light comes on, I shine.
It's on.
I shine. Oh, it is? Okay.
I'm Julie Farrell with Directors Mortgage, and I have the one and only Adam Bjornson, which you have so many illustrious titles.
Yeah.
But the one that we're going to focus on today is your work that you do with Lawyers Title.
How about that?
I know. I'm so appreciative for the friendship and relationship that we have with Lawyers Title, and you guys provide us with a ton of different resources. But today I wanted to hit on some really practical things that people should know about title and escrow. Like, what is title and escrow? In Oregon, it functions a little bit differently than other states, and so I think it's important for people to know what that service is.
Yeah, I guess in general, title kind of establishes who owns what.
Super important in home ownership.
It is, and it's not required. Title insurance is not required in the state of Oregon.
What?
It is preferred, yes. If you have no money, let me rephrase that. If you are just going to buy it with cash, you don't have to have it. Now,
The lender
requires it.
title
Exactly.
insurance.
But it's not an overall requirement.
Fascinating.
It is because you should have title insurance.
I was just going to say, that sounds like a pretty risky purchase without making sure you're the homeowner.
Well, I will say this about title insurance is different than any other type of insurance that you can buy. Car insurance, life insurance, homeowner's insurance, that all protects you from the moment you buy it until there's an incident or, event that happens. Sure. What title insurance does, it insures you on the past history of your house. Say in 1952, somebody says, well, that's my tree and it's on my property, and you can look at it and figure out, okay, no, it's not. This is, you can go back and look and say, that's my property.
Let's talk about a preliminary title report, because that's sort of the precursor to your title insurance, and it gives you a look under the hood, if you will, as to what you're getting into. It's a report that everything that title has been recorded on.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times we'll get realtors or lenders say, hey, can I get a prelim on this property? They're very important. You want to know a history of a house, just like you said, looking under the hood a little bit,
right,
to find out, okay, where, you want to be able to look and see, okay, there's been two owners on this house for X amount of years, 50 plus years. If there's any issues that have been attached to that home, you'll be able to see that in the prelim.
Other interesting things that are tucked into a preliminary title report is you will have your legal description for the property. You'll have any easements. So if there's utility companies that have power lines or cables running through the yard and they need access to that at any time, that's going to be written into that preliminary title report. I think as a potential home buyer, it's a great resource for information, and I think it often gets overlooked because people are thinking about their move, they're thinking about their mortgage loan, but the title is really important information.
You need to do your due diligence, yeah, there's no question. And when you're buying or selling a home, you've got to be protected. You got to know what you're getting into. So it is 100%, it's imperative that that you know, and that your customers, your clients know what they're getting into as well, especially when you're representing them.
Exactly. That's really good advice. So we touched a little bit on liens being attached to a property. Judgments are similar to a lien, but they're attached to a human versus the property. And those will also show up. If there's a judgment or against a buyer, that will show up on a preliminary title report. If there's any liens against the property taxes will show up there. Any mortgages recorded against the property. I think that's about it.
It's a full history of a house, right?
It is.
Yeah, I mean, if someone wants to know my medical report and they go to the doctors that I've used over time, they could probably find all that. It's just going to take some time. But you want to know the full health of a house and the property history on it. It's all going to be there, and you don't want to purchase a house that has a judgment or a lien against it.
No.
That would be no bueno.
No bueno.
It would be not fun. So yeah, it's imperative that we go through all the steps in the title and escrow world in the closing a property and making sure that we know the history before we pass it along to you.
Absolutely. Well, what else can we talk about?
Escrow.
Yes.
How about escrow?
I've neglected escrow. We've
I know.
touched on so much title. Tell me about escrow.
Let's talk escrow. Escrow's funny because I look at it as kind of like a locker where you store things. You're like, it is
a great metaphor
isn't
for
it? It is. You want to be able to, if you've got money set aside for taxes, it goes into an escrow account. If you've got anything that's key to a transaction, you want to be able to, access it with the escrow account. So the money's going to go in there. I pay my county taxes not at the end of the year out of my own account. I roll it into my mortgage payment. It's easy to do that way, especially when we're talking about $7,000. I don't want that at the end of the year just
due in
popping
November
up.
in Oregon.
Sure, yeah. And
Timely.
so, and right around the corner from right now. So yeah, escrow is important, and it holds kind of like the keys to the car, and it's that liquid rainy day account, if you will, to pay off other bills.
And I think that there's two very separate lanes for escrow. When we refer to escrow in mortgage, there's the reserve escrow account. Both can be considered lockers. Great metaphor.
Yeah.
But
you can use that from now on.
I'm going to. Thank you. And then there's also the opportunity, well, in Oregon, it's required to close a transaction through escrow when you purchase a home. And so your earnest money, your new loan, any down payment going towards the purchase of the home all get deposited with escrow. And then once you properly can record on the home, the money is dispersed to the seller at that point. So the seller is assured that the money is there and right. The buyer is assured nobody's getting the money until the home is theirs. And it works as that neutral locker system until keys can be handed over.
A neutral third party in the purchase and or sale of a property. Yeah. That's how we look at escrow. We basically handle all of it and the disbursements, and it goes where it needs to go to the necessary people, or it's held in escrow when your taxes go up, and we know about that.
Yeah, I know.
Taxes going up?
October is fast approaching.
Yeah.
Hold and pay season.
I know.
Do we even want to dive into that?
Do I just keep chewing my fingernails? Taxes are up.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but it's important. Clearly, there are so many, as I mentioned before, there's so many different steps to the purchase or sale of a property, and that's why sometimes, especially when we're busy, it'll take more than a month to close on a property because there are so many different files that our escrow teams are working on. So, my role is a little different. My role is as a marketing sales executive to offer the tools and resources that we have at Lawyers Title to best suit our clients and or targets, prospects, however you want to call it.
Which is why you're here.
Which is why I'm here.
Doing this right now.
Yeah.
Because you're so great at your job.
Well, it's a fun job because no two clients are looking for the same thing. People always want more business, certainly, and they want to stay busy. And what we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years, it was hard just to lock down because business was just coming. Now we have to work for it a little bit. Now we're in that mindset of actually sitting down and getting to the nuts and bolts on what people really want to do. And so it's been fun. It's been a great career choice for me. When I first made the move, and it'll be 8 years in January. I didn't think, thank you. I didn't think I'd make it 8 weeks, maybe even 8 days. The terminology was just over my head. I couldn't think straight with all the stuff. They're like, hey, can I get a farm in Northeast Portland? There are no farms in Northeast Portland. You got to go out to North Plains or something to find a farm. So, but it's been such a great ride, and I want the ride to continue for as long as I can, especially with my great colleagues at Lawyers Title. Yeah.
Well, you guys do a great job, and I've enjoyed the friendships and business
Yes.
relationships that I've acquired over the years with you guys. And
Yes, definitely.
you guys are just great to close with. Efficient, get
Well-
it done. Love it.
And Julie, I think you know this probably better than anyone. Everything we do in lending, in title and escrow, in real estate, everything is relational. If you can make a connection with someone somewhere along the way, and just people appreciate you just being you.
Yes.
You know, and they want to work with people that are like-minded. So I think a lot of times when we're out prospecting, you can tell right away the temperature, what the vibe is going to be like in a certain conversation.
Sure.
And I think here with you guys at Directors, it's been such a great relationship because it's always been warm and welcoming, and you've got fun personalities and great people, and you care about the community. You care about so much that these are the type of people we want to partner with.
But I also think it's authentic. Like
No
we
question. We're not trying.
Right.
Yeah,
It's an
it just-
authentic relationship.
Absolutely.
And when we need to pivot, we both are open to having those collaborations and pivoting. It is a really unique and awesome relationship.
Yeah.
One last thing before
Sure.
I let you go. I
Yeah.
just want to kind of hit on the process of what escrow is, because let's say that you've got a home buyer, they're a first-time home buyer, they're getting a mortgage, their realtor tells them, I'm opening up escrow, and they're like, I don't know what that means. They're going to Google, what's escrow? I want them to see what this means to them. So they're going to get a prelim. They're going to send their earnest money and any funds pertaining to down payment to escrow in a secure fashion. And then the escrow officer will often print up and work up loan documents for them to sign and notarize as part of their service.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they're going to record with the county and disperse all of the monies at the end.
Yes.
Did I miss any of the?
No, I think you got all of it.
I mean,
But
there's a
they
lot
better-
of work. that
There
goes
is a
into
lot of
each
work.
of
It's
those
not
steps.
easy.
No.
First, they better have a pre-approval letter from Julie Farrell at
Absolutely.
Directors. That's the first step, really. We want to know who we're working with, right? We want to know, okay, is this person got the funds that they say they've got to buy this house? Get that pre-approval letter and make sure that that's underway. But yeah, once the earnest money check is in, that's really what gets the wheels in motion. We open up escrow, and typically it'll take between. Now we're seeing things close in about 3 weeks,
Yeah.
3.5 weeks, which has
That's
been a
nice.
tremendous asset for the clients. They're like, oh, we don't have to wait the 5 or 6 weeks we were waiting before.
Right.
We've nearly cut that time in half because we can handle the amount of business that's happening now.
Right.
Whereas before we're just, it's going to be a little bit longer.
Right, right.
Docs take a little bit longer, but yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, though, I really enjoy this space because it is relationship based, and those relationships mean something now versus just getting somebody that's pre-approved into that house.
Yep.
It matters who you're pre-approved with. It matters who you're working with and aligning with now more than ever, and experience matters. So I've navigated a few of these market changes, and you know what? It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's really going to be okay. People will still need to purchase homes. If you need a home, then now's the right time to buy. And it's not going to get any cheaper to buy than now. Marry the house, date the rate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no greater investment that you can make right now than in real estate. And how many times have you been walking around a neighborhood or driving around town and going, I remember when that house just sold like 7 years ago for 300 grand.
Oh, right.
And now it's up to 750 and you're
Right.
like, my God.
Yeah.
That would pay for my 3 kids' college, you know. So, no, you're absolutely right, and we know what builders are doing right now. They can't keep up with the demand right now. There's so much demand for housing, affordable housing, first-time home buyers. It's a slippery slope right now. We have to really kind of navigate those waters and try to understand how we can help and how we can assist.
Sure.
And so with the homeless crisis going on, and we're not going to touch on any of that.
I'm like,
'cause
whoa.
none of this would
Here we go.
ever make the final cut. But it's It's great. It's such a great area, and people. There's a reason
segue.
people. Yeah. Homeless crisis.
It's a really great community
It's
to
a great
live
community, except for those homeless camps down the street. Sorry, I shouldn't do that when you're taking a drink of coffee.
in.
I'll be
It's
wearing
okay.
it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Adam, so much for your time, your information, your witty banter, as always. I've enjoyed your company.
Well, hopefully I didn't go too off track with a lot of this stuff. But no, if you ever have any sort of need, we're always here at Lawyers Title to help assist. That's what we do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Julie. And cut.
And cut.